Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating shift happening in the cybersecurity world. It turns out you don't actually need some elite 4-year software engineering degree to get into bug bounties anymore. We're going to explore this incredibly practical blueprint where modern AI tools step in and do the heavy lifting for you. Let's get right into it. $50,000. Seriously, let that sink in. That's the maximum life-changing cash reward that Fortune 500 companies, massive tech startups, and even government entities are legally paying out to everyday researchers. And what are they paying for? Just finding a single uninvited loophole in their systems. It's an absolutely incredible opportunity. Today, we're breaking down exactly how complete beginners are getting a piece of this action without writing a single line of manual code. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. If you stick with me, we're covering the digital gold rush, finding the side doors, the Lazy Recon framework, your free AI toolkit, critical rookie mistakes, and finally, wrap it up with a concrete 30-day action plan. All right, let's kick things off with part 1, the digital gold rush, becoming the operations manager. Moving right along to part 2, finding the side doors, decoding the tech jargon. Okay, let's completely strip away all that confusing IT jargon for a second and look at how this actually works. The digital real estate we're hunting for here revolves around something called a subdomain. Now, massive enterprises just can't fit everything onto one single web page, right? So they spin up literally hundreds of branching pathways. Think of URLs like mail.company.com or devtesting.company.com. They set these up for temporary marketing pushes or internal employee portals, and honestly, they just forget to take them down. Historically, finding vulnerabilities in these required you to be some kind of master hacker. But by combining this core concept with state-of-the-art AI, you're stepping into the role of an operations manager. You let the tools do the technical heavy lifting for you. I love this analogy. Think of the primary domain, the main website, as the front entrance of a massive corporate skyscraper. It is heavily guarded, packed with CCTV cameras, biometric locks, the whole shebang. Trying to break in there as a beginner? Yeah, nearly impossible. But those subdomains we just talked about, those are the forgotten side doors, the loading docks, maybe a rusty maintenance hatch in the back alley. Because they're completely forgotten by the company, they're unpatched, highly vulnerable, and extremely profitable to discover. Ignore the heavily guarded front door. We're looking for the side hatches. And that brings us to a really critical cybersecurity term, reconnaissance, or just recon for short. Now, this is simply the initial phase of collecting intelligence. It's scanning, probing, and basically cataloging every single digital asset a target actually owns. But here is the absolute golden rule you need to remember. Whoever maps out the largest area of a target's infrastructure discovers the most bugs and ultimately makes the most money. Period. Which leads us to part 3, the Lazy Recon framework, flipping the script on hacking. Traditionally, mapping out those assets meant manually staring at thousands of lines of incredibly complex Linux code. Well, the Lazy Recon approach completely flips the script on that by swapping out those manual scripts for 3 highly optimized automated methods. Method 1 is passive recon. This is where you quietly query public archives without ever actually touching the target servers. Super stealthy. Method 2 is active recon, deploying specialized automated tools to probe and find brand new subdomains. And method 3, this is your secret weapon, AI-enhanced OSINT. This is where we use artificial intelligence to actually predict hidden patterns that everyone else misses. Now, what's really interesting here is how simple the actual workflow gets once you apply those methods. It boils down to a beautifully straightforward 3-step process. Step 1, collect. You're just gathering a massive list of, say, 500 plus subdomains. Step 2 is filter. You use bulk checkers to quickly isolate only the live pages, the ones throwing a 200 OK or 403 status code. And finally, step 3, inspect. You literally just open those live pages and look for glaring, obvious mistakes. I'm talking about things like developers getting lazy and leaving the default login as admin/admin, or maybe accidentally exposing internal database files to the public internet. All right, part 4, your free AI toolkit, the zero-cost arsenal. So to build this engine, you need the right tools. And the most incredible part about this, 95% of this entire toolkit is going to cost you absolutely nothing. The barrier to entry is literally 0. You've got crt.sh and Subfinder, which are totally free tools for scraping historical certificates and mapping out domain trees concurrently. Then you've got HTTPX, also free, which rapidly checks which subdomains are actually alive, so you don't waste hours doing manual clicking. Tossed in the free tier of Shodan.io to see what software is running. Burp Suite to intercept hidden browser traffic, and an AI model like ChatGPT or Claude, which both have free versions, to draft those high-converting bounty reports. It's a game changer. Now, I want to brilliantly illustrate how AI gives you a totally unfair advantage here. Imagine feeding a small list of known subdomains into an AI and prompting it with something like, analyze the naming pattern of these subdomains and generate 50 highly logical permutations that this engineering team might use. It instantly predicts hidden pages. If the AI notices the engineers use UK dealers and D dealers, it's gonna logically guess, hey, what about Asia dealers or US dealers? Standard automated scanners completely miss these subtle variations, but AI just hands them right to you on a silver platter. Let's pivot to part 5, critical rookie mistakes, protecting your credibility. Okay, time for a crucial reality check. Because we are dealing with real-world enterprise security here, there are hard rules, and if you break them, you will get banned. Mistake number 1 is hacking outside the authorized scope. If a specific domain is not explicitly listed on the approved bounty program, stay far away from it. Mistake 2 is over-automating and spamming targets. Look, launching aggressive scanners all night is a fantastic way to wake up a very angry IT security team, trigger all their firewalls, and get your IP blocked permanently. Keep your recon passive, keep it lazy. And mistake 3 is submitting low-quality duplicate reports. Rely on your AI assistant to ensure your reports highlight real, tangible security impacts, like leaked data, rather than just pointing out aesthetic bugs or slow-loading pages. And that brings us to our final section, part 6, the 30-day action plan, the reality matrix. Let's directly bust the whole influencer myth that you can just press a button today and go buy a sports car next Thursday. That's not reality. Bug bounties are a numbers game. Let's look at the actual stats. Out of every 10 companies you thoroughly map out, expect about 7 to have perfectly patched, totally secure systems. Another 2 might have bugs, but somebody else found them an hour before you did. Those are duplicates. But that one remaining open, unpatched vulnerability, that one right there is your cash payout. You just have to consistently run the numbers. So let's look at a realistic timeline and see how this actually builds up over a month. Week 1 is all about learning the domain mechanics and calibrating your AI prompts. Don't rush this. Then weeks 2 and 3, that's your active framework hunting phase, where you are accumulating databases of target subdomains. And finally, week 4 and beyond, that's where you hit payout velocity. You're submitting verified findings, you're building up your reputation score, and eventually, you're gaining those exclusive invitations to private, highly lucrative corporate bug programs. Let's break down this 30-day action plan into concrete, bite-sized tasks so you can start your intelligence pipeline from absolute scratch. Days 1 through 7, just get your free accounts registered on official platforms like HackerOne or BugCrowd, and get your AI prompt library set up. Days 8 through 15, select some wide-scope corporate targets and just let your passive scraping tools run. Let them build that master list for you. Then, days 16 through 30, filter that list for live assets, manually inspect the most suspicious-looking side doors, and submit your AI-written professional reports. You know, AI has effectively removed the technical gatekeeping that used to lock everyday people out of this entire cybersecurity monetization pool. The tools are literally free, and these massive Fortune 500 companies are legally asking for your help. But as the saying goes, knowledge becomes power only when it's applied. Please don't let this powerful strategy just sit idly in your downloads folder or fade into your viewing history. The back windows of the corporate internet are left wide open via these forgotten subdomains, and they are literally just waiting to be discovered. So I'll leave you with this final provocative question. Will you execute day 1 of your plan today and claim your share of the digital gold rush? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now get out there and go map those side doors.